From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Hello everyone, quick reminder, there's a free Weather NorCal app. I want you to download it today. It's a great local resource, and unlike a lot of other apps that you may have on your phone, this one is actually, most of the forecasts are controlled by me. When I enter a forecast, it then goes into the app. So the forecast that you see that I do right here on this video, the forecast that you see online, you're going to see the same forecast on the app as well. So it's consistent. So you're not going to get a lot of bogus forecasts. It's all 100% localized. So just go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, and download it for free today. All right, so the heat wave continues. Yes, we are seeing a drop in our temperatures, but actually temperature is going back up again after tomorrow. But we do expect more record-breaking heat with hot and dry conditions, which will keep that fire danger fairly high. But we do have cooling temperatures on the horizon. I mean, still hot, but at least closer to normal for this time of the year. Your neighborhood forecast at a glance for tomorrow, we actually may break that stretch of 110 plus degree temperatures, especially in the Redding area, but bottom line still right around 108, 109, maybe even 110 in some spots here, and still around 100 degrees or higher for many of the higher elevations. We take a look at the Thompson fire, of course. This one's pretty much off our radar because at this point now it's pretty much at 98% contained. We take you right now also looking at the Shelley fire. It has been fairly active throughout the day today. This is the most recent activity that we're seeing, and pretty much for the entire perimeter of the fire, we are still seeing a lot of activity within the fire. Now, this is the latest fire perimeter. A little hard to see. I had a hard time shading it in, but this is the best we can do. You can see it right here, the fire perimeter, right in that area of red right here. Still about 3,380 acres. Now, keep in mind, I'm recording this weather segment between the hours of 5 and 6 Monday afternoon, Monday evening. So this is the latest data between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m. It will change as we go into the overnight and even into the morning hours. But take a look at the distance of that fire perimeter to the local communities. Fort Jones, about 10.2 miles. From Greenview, it's about 5.6 miles. And about 5.6 miles to Etna. Again, 0% containment. This is something that we're going to have to watch here very closely. Now, before we get to that smoke forecast, what I want to do now is I'm going to take a look at different resources here. So let's start with, we're going to go to this. We're going to get the latest image coming in. And this is coming in from Fort Jones. And this is looking out at the Shelley fire. I'm going to take you out about 12 hours. And you can see all the smoke that is producing today. You didn't have a chance to really clear out. It's been smoky all day in Scott Valley. And of course, we've seen smoke in some of the surrounding areas as well. It has been a fairly active fire, unfortunately, and it is creating a lot of smoke, and it will continue to do that most likely into the evening hours. We take a look at some of the air quality that we have out there right now, and again around the vicinity of the fire, and you'll see right here, I'll show you kind of where the center of the fire is. This fire is right about here, okay? So all around it, this is basically where we're seeing, and this is what was projected by the smoke forecast, that is kind of the perimeter just not too far around it is where most of the smoke and bad air quality is going to be. Now there's another fire in southern Oregon that is also producing smoke, which we'll see in this more smoke forecast here in a bit. But I mean, along the coast, conditions are okay as far as smoke is concerned, and of course down to the south as well. I also want to show you what the satellite image is showing here. This is looking at, I'm going to go ahead and refresh it to the latest coming on in here. And you'll see here, it's producing the smoke, and look at that heat signature coming out of that fire throughout the day today. So again, as I mentioned, this has been a fairly active fire here throughout the day. What I want to do now is just again take you to look at some of the other fires. So you've got the bogus fire. This one started earlier today at 25 acres. Of course, no containment reported as of yet. This is right now, as you can see, to the north and east of Wairika, and not to mention Montague. There is the Salt Creek fire that is also producing some smoke. This is in Oregon. There you can see all the smoke that it is producing. It's a fairly large fire at about 1,500 acres. This will have an impact, especially in Siskiyou County and the smoke. Taking a look at the North fire, this has been growing as well, But the good news is we're up to 45% containment at just over 4,000 acres. Meanwhile, there's another fire in extreme northern Mendocino County at 39.3 acres. It right now is at 0% containment and is producing some smoke down into places like southern Trinity County. And as I mentioned, the Thompson fire is pretty much off the radar at this point at 98% containment, 3,789%. I do want to show you this too, because there is a public meeting for the Shelley fire. And there will be a public meeting Monday, of course today, at 7 p.m. for the Shelley fire at Etna High School, 400 Howell Avenue, Etna, California. It will also be streamed on Facebook, both on the Klamath National Forest and CAL FIRE Siskiyou unit. So be sure to check that out. So as I was mentioning, we are seeing smoke. Now the smoke is coming in from the Shelley fire and the fire coming in from southern Oregon. Now as we go into tomorrow morning, it's going to overspread. We're going to see less smoke develop, but it'll kind of overspread, maybe even as far east as Modoc County, making its way into Trinity County and northern Humboldt County as well. Now, as we take a look as we go through Tuesday, and again, we're going to see more smoke coming in from the fire in southern Oregon, the Shelley fire as well, the two of them producing a lot of smoke in parts of Siskiyou County, but they're going to see even Modoc County getting in on some of that smoke, and it looks like it's just going to try to overspread that region. Now, the wind's not that big of a problem here for tomorrow morning. They're picking up a little bit here, mainly from the west here for Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, and Central Siskiyou County as well. Not a major wind event, but when we start getting over 15, 20 miles per hour, that's when we've got to be a little concerned that, especially if a fire starts, it can spread fairly rapidly in those 15 to 20 mile an hour gusts. Same story as we go into Wednesday as far as the winds are concerned. A little breezy, but no major wind event occurring. Now, we are seeing relative humidity recovery, meaning it's very dry during the day, but we do get up to 30 to even over 40% even in the valley. Still fairly dry, though, as you can see in Susanville, and not to mention out towards Trinity County. As we go into Tuesday afternoon, there are those single digits, teens out towards Trinity County, and not to mention, of course, near the Shelley fire as well. But again, that good recovery coming into Wednesday morning. By Wednesday afternoon, looking at very dry conditions again, although it looks like not quite as dry Wednesday afternoon for places like Trinity County and in western Siskiyou County as well, but still 20 to 30% is still rather low, but not as low obviously as those single digits. So we look at the fire weather risk. We're in that orange, so kind of in that high range here for the valley, and we are seeing some areas of high fire danger in Siskiyou, Modoc, and not to mention Lassen County. Now we're going to take you into Wednesday, and what you'll notice here, it doesn't seem to be quite as bad. Looks like we still have some of that high fire danger in some of the higher elevations, especially to the north and east, and not to mention in the valley as well. Still have those heat advisories, excessive heat watch, and not to mention excessive heat warnings. A lot of these expiring around midweek, around Wednesday, but the one for the valley eastward is going to expire this Friday. So these heat advisories and warnings will extend through this week for some parts of Northern California. The reason being is, even though this high pressure is not right on top of us, it's moved to the south and it's allowing our temperatures to drop slightly, but still very hot. As this expands northward into the Great Basin, that dome of heat is still, we're within the vicinity of that dome of high pressure, keeping those temperatures between 105 and a little over even 110 degrees here through Friday. Then by the weekend, we're going to start to see that warmer air push to the east. And it's thanks to these little systems that are pushing to the north, helping to push that heat to the east. And as a result, our temperatures are going to drop. So that is what we have to look forward to. Now, when I say temperatures dropping, still about 100 degrees or slightly higher, but at least we'll be breaking away from that 110 plus degree temperatures that we've seen for the last couple of weeks. Here's what it looks like right now. Consecutive number of days that we've seen 110 degrees or higher. The record is 6 days, set in 1978, 1988. Not too far behind that was in 1920 with 5 consecutive days. So far with today, we've seen about 115 degrees for that daytime high. That puts us at 6 days. We have now tied the record of the record number of consecutive days of 110 degree temperatures. Now here's where things get interesting, and this is something I was kind of talking about a little bit earlier. I want to show you as we look at July, right? So starting July 3rd, right here is where we saw 110. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of 110 plus, and of course today with that 115 that we did see. Now, take a look at the 10-day trend. By tomorrow, we may just break that streak. But wouldn't you know it, we're back up to 110 plus for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, with that said, if we by chance, and it's not out of the question, if we by chance get it to 110 degrees, this will be day number 7, 8, 9, and possibly 10 days. So I think we may break that record if we can get up to 110 degrees. We'll see if that happens. But for now, it looks like quite a drop in the temperatures as we do go into Sunday and early next week, but still hot and still above normal. But again, we're breaking away from that 110 plus degree stretch that we've seen for quite some time. All right, we take a look at those wave heights, and there you can see really not seeing much change here for the Tuesday. They may increase, it looks like a little bit here, very slowly as we take you into your Wednesday afternoon. But your marine forecast, no advisories, just looking at that patchy dense fog with those northwest winds at about 5 to 10 knots. We take a look at your forecast for tonight. We're looking at those temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. So again, we are cooling off a little bit overnight. But yeah, it's going to warm up here pretty rapidly as we go through the day. Temperature still well over 100 degrees here for Trinity County. Should drop down to around 100 by Sunday, Monday of this upcoming weekend and early next week. Central and southern Humboldt County, the coast, basically looking at temperatures in the mid-60s for the next 7 days. No big changes there. But for the inland areas, we're still over 100 degrees, most likely through Saturday, and then upper 90s return by Sunday, Monday of next week. And for Siskiyou County, kind of the same situation, right? We're at about 100 degrees here through Thursday. Upper 90s Friday, Saturday, low to mid 90s by Sunday, Monday. And your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, we're looking at those temperatures, upper 90, about 100 degrees, give or take, really. That's the case here through Friday, and then mid 90s by Sunday and Monday. And your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, also upper 90s to just a little over 100 degrees here. For Susanville, you're around 100 degrees through Saturday, mid 90s by Sunday and Monday. Your Valley neighborhood forecast, well, of course, you see the temperatures are dropping to the south. We're about 105 degrees for Chico, but then we're back up to around 110 degrees here for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Temperatures down to just over 100 by Sunday and Monday. Up north, 109 for the city of Shasta Lake, 109 for Redding. Again, most of us in the valley could dodge 110 degrees, but it's not out of the question for Redding, Palisadro, Anderson, maybe even Cottonwood to see 110 degrees. We'll see what happens with that because that could keep that stretch going. Now, looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, again, we may break that stretch tomorrow, the high of 109, but back up to about 110 degrees or slightly higher through Friday. Temperatures back down to 103 to 104 by next Sunday and Monday.
We're the locals down the street, the neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years, a loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.